Okay, so this class that we're going to do, it's just going to be a general class. So I'm not going to, I'm going to speak more about tweens and teens and age groups and what you want to create. This is if you're asked to go into a school to teach a group of teens. It's more kind of breaking it down in the sense that if you're used to teaching adults, there's less like really going into the alignment side of things and trying, it's just like trying to get them to be aware of energy, but it's about being a little bit more, being professional, being informal and friendly too, without being like, hello boys and girls, you know. You don't want to go in all serious, like a, you know, that sort of way where they think, oh God, here's another teacher. You know, and also you don't want to go into, because I do know of a teacher that went into school in this area and made the naughty teenagers go out and hug trees in a, you know, one of the deprived areas. They were raging. you're not gonna take them out and get them to hug trees. So it's finding that balance. So let's just flow with it. So because it's online, I'm teaching it as if it's online right now. What I was doing during the first lockdown, I was teaching. I carried on with my Kitty Lodge classes, which is Aberdeen Petroleum Club. These teenagers are absolutely amazing, and they really needed support. So I had to take it online. But because I'm focusing on my trainings, and I don't want to be jack of all trades, master of none. I want to really focus on the training. So one of my graduates has taken on the baton, and she's running these classes. So this is how I would do it. So I normally, I'm going to speak about props and stuff like that. So normally like to, in a class, start off with doing some cards of some sort, like positive affirmation cards. Even if you're going into a real life, if you go into a real life situation, giving them one each, and then so they go one at a time to connect. So you almost get that small connection with each one of them as you go along, and they start to get to know each other, and you get to know them. But what I've been doing online is go, right, I'm going to choose a card for us all today. Let's see what it is. So these ones I got free actually from one of these, I think it's Soul and Spirit magazine. You can get different positive affirmation cards off Amazon, but look out for these spiritual magazines. They've always got wee cards like this that the kids and the teens love. Okay, brilliant. So today, it says, this isn't what you expected to happen, but trust that it is part of the plan. Okay. Possibly quite relevant for us all, really, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to move my bolster and we're going to begin. So you're going to start off by coming into a cross-legged position, and we're just going to connect in with our breath here. So making sure your spine is long, your chin is slightly tucked in, you're not holding any tension in your jaw, your shoulders. Close your eyes and smooth out your breath. So trying to smooth out the rough edges of your breath. So you can even breathe into the count of 4 and breathe out to the count of 4. So the more you can smooth out your breath, the more it can help to smooth out your mind. And check in with yourself today. How are you feeling? Do you feel, how are your emotions? How is your mind? Have you got any aches or pains in your body? Do you feel energetic, or do you feel lethargic and sleepy? Just be okay with where you are right now. It's okay to feel emotional. It's okay to be worried. You're not your emotions, they're just here to visit you. Everything changes. So be okay with where you are just now, connecting with your breath and letting go any tension. So you're going to start by rolling your head down just very, very slowly. Again, breathing into any tight spaces. So keeping your spine nice and long. Nice deep breaths. Round the other way. And take your head back up to center. Drop your right ear down towards your right shoulder. Keep your shoulders relaxed. And then breathe into that left side of your neck. Draw your belly button in. Take your head back up to center. Drop your left ear down towards your left shoulder. Keep the shoulders relaxed and still imagine your spine getting nice and long. Head back up to center, and then you're going to look over your right shoulder. And as you inhale, you're going to feel your rib cage lifting up and expanding. As you exhale, it's going to contract and go back down. So really open up in your lungs here. It's going to stop you feeling so sleepy. And then looking over your left shoulder, and again, open up your lungs here. We tend to only use 1/3 of our lungs when we breathe. So let's get rid of some of the stagnant air and get some good fresh stuff in. Take your head back to center. Now, if you don't have neck issues, take your head all the way back. You can imagine that you're breathing the color blue in and out to the front of your throat area. This is the color of your communication chakra. This is about speaking your truth. It's about expressing yourself, sticking up for yourself, communicating well. So just imagine you're breathing the color blue in and out through your throat. Take your head back to center. Interlace your fingers. Take them behind the back of your neck. Elbows are pointing towards the wall in front of you. Tucking your chin in. And then you're going to close your eyes and imagine, and with your breath, you're going to breathe in and bring a white light from the base of your spine all the way up the spine to the crown of your head. And as you breathe out, bring that white light all the way back down your spine. So continue with this little breathing technique. Imagine that you're breathing a white light up and down your spine. And then releasing. Open your eyes. You might feel a little bit woohoo. It's a good feeling though. And then let's shrug away our worries. Breathe in, breathe out. And then slowly rolling your shoulders back, big circles. And forwards. And then interlace your fingers. Inhale, take your arms all the way up. And then take your hands the opposite way. Exhaling to bring them back down. So inhaling up. And then pushing your palms to the sky. Exhaling back down. One more time. Okay, and then from here, palms are going to face each other. Relax the shoulders. Breathe into the left through the nose, breathe out the right. Breathing in, breathing out through your mouth. And then we're going to move to sit on our heels. So when you're sitting on your heels like this is quite good for a sluggish system, if you know what I mean. So keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed, you're going to breathe in and bring your chest and your throat forward. Breathe out, curve your spine round and tuck your chin in. So breathing in to come forwards and breathe out to go the other way. So really connect your breath and your body here. So slow it down, smooth it out. And you can even imagine the color green in your heart center here. This is the color of your Anahata chakra, it's your heart chakra. So it's love, forgiveness, compassion towards others, but also to yourself. Then from here, take your hands onto your shoulders, breathe in the left, breathe out the right. Breathing in, breathing out. Coming back to cross-legged position. We're going to do something called Sufi grinding. So keeping your shoulders relaxed, and with the breath, you're circling this middle part of your body. So we're stimulating our internal organs. Everyone seems to exercise their arms, their legs, their abs, but we really don't like work in with the internal organs. We need them even more. So this just gets rid of any stagnant stuff again. So go round the other way if you've not already done it. Nice deep breaths. It just starts to awaken this area. And this area as well is the Manipura chakra. It's your personal power, your self-esteem is, the relationship with yourself. It's where your burning fire comes, where you burn away anything you don't need anymore. So it's always very good. So take your right hand, place it on your left knee, left hand on the floor behind you. Breathing in to lengthen, and breathe out to look over that left shoulder. Not too much, because we're just starting out. Just inhaling to lengthen through the spine, and exhaling to gently twist. Make sure you're not holding tension in your jaw and shoulders, and you're trying to spiral your spine equally upwards. You're not just trying to twist in the lower part of your back. And then releasing, place your left hand onto your right knee, right hand on the floor behind you, breathing in to lengthen, and breathing out to twist. Breathe in to lengthen, and breathe out to twist. Twist work with a value, an energy called samana, which means it brings balance into our lives. But twists are also good for balancing all body types, according to Ayurveda, which is the sister science of yoga. And then releasing. From here, we're going to work with a pose called Gomukhasana. And the way you remember how it's Gomukhasana, it's cow's face pose, and it's cows go moo, don't they? And apparently, if you practice one every day, it makes you radiant. You can tell I'm not there yet, but I'm still trying. Still want to be radiant. So you're going to hit your right leg, lift it up, and take it over the bent left knee. Either staying there, or you're taking each foot to either side. When you're teaching teens, you don't need to modify as much. You can speak about you can give them ideas to use props and that, but teens don't need it as much, but you can still do a little bit of that. Adults are more fear-based and their bodies aren't working as well as teens. So from here, take your right arm all the way up to the sky. Take it down your back, and the left arm's going to come underneath to try and hold on. And don't worry if you're not there yet. Tuck the chin in slightly, and imagine an invisible string pulling your head up to the heavens. Inhale to open up with the body, and exhale to let go. So inhale to open up, and exhale to let go. So you can even start to engage something called Mula Bandhas. This is your pelvic floor muscles. So it's very good to exercise these ones. If that's too much things to think about, that's okay. You don't have to worry about it. And then releasing, take your arms out in front of you. We're going to work with eagle arms now, Garudasana. So take your right arm, cross it over and wrap it around your left. If you don't have shoulder issues, lift up your elbows. And again, smooth out the breath. The more you can smooth out your breath, the more you can smooth out the mind. So the breath is the bridge to the mind, and the mind is the bridge to the soul. Smooth the breath out. tame the brain. And then releasing, feel that nice warmth in your shoulders, coming back to cross-legged position. Let's do the other side. So get that left leg, lift it up and take it over the bent knee, either staying there or taking each foot to either side. Just make sure you're not sitting on your ankles and make sure your knees aren't screaming at you. If they are, you can pop something underneath. So you're going to take that left arm up to the sky, take it down your back, and the right arm's coming underneath to try and hold on. Don't worry if you're not there yet. Tuck the chin in, draw the crown of your head up to the heavens. You can engage Mula Bandha, your pelvic floor muscles, if you really want to. Don't worry if that's not for you just now. So breathing in to open up your body and breathing out to let go. Gently releasing, feeling the warmth in your shoulders. Take the arms out in front of you. Let's do eagle arms the other way. So left arm's crossing over to wrap around the right. If you don't have shoulder issues, lift the elbows up. So this is a good one to do if you get whole tension in your shoulders, if you're doing a lot of studying, you're doing a lot of work over your computer, your laptop, or whatever it is. We end up not realizing that we're holding lots of tension there. So this is a good one to kind of release it. The cow's face pose and the eagle pose are good for that. So connecting with your breath again. And then releasing, feeling all that nice coziness going into your body. So from here, let's untangle ourselves and move onto our hands and knees. So we're going to work with something called cat-cow. And you wouldn't think, why would a cat be, cat and a cow be together? I have no idea. So breathe in and curve your spine and look up. And breathe out to curve your spine the other way. Your gaze is at your belly button. So breathing in to go one way. And breathe out to go the other way. So again, connecting your breath and your body. Slow and smooth, bring awareness into each individual bone in your back, your vertebrae. So this is a really good one for if you get an achy back, which some of you have been getting over this past pre-lockdown time because we're sitting around a lot, and especially some of you guys that are at school or having to do schoolwork at home and you're not in proper chairs, you're in comfy sofas that aren't supporting your back. So coming back to neutral spine, and then from here, you're going to circle your hips forwards, circling them back. Nice big deep breaths. So this works with the second chakra, Svadhisthana chakra. This is the color orange. This is your joy in life and your creativity, your emotions and your one-to-one relationships. And then go round the other way. Okay, and then from here, I want you to imagine you've got a big bushy tail and you want to show off your big bushy tail. So just show off your big bushy tails, gives it a nice big wag. Always makes you have a wee smile as well. Smiling's good for the soul. Just show off your big bushy tails. Bet you never thought you'd be doing that today. Okay, so concentrating on a spot in front of you. This is called the drishti point. Lift up your right leg. You're going to reach back with your opposite hand, your left hand, to try and hold on to that foot or ankle. Draw your shoulders away from your ears, tongue to the roof of your mouth to help with your balance, and smooth out your breath. Verity, your dog loves yoga, doesn't it? And then from here, stretching out to your fingertips, stretching out to your toes, tuck the chin in. Breathe into that right side of your pelvis. Dropping your left hand and your right foot, turning to the right, taking your right arm all the way up the sky, either staying there Or you're going to straighten both legs, stacking one on top of the other for Vashisthasana, side plank pose. It's a good one for your love handles, if you've got love handles, and if you do, that's okay too. You're perfect as you are. And then slowly coming back down onto your hands and knees. Find your drishti point, your gaze point. Lifting up that left leg, reaching back with the right hand, drawing the shoulders away from your ears. Tuck the chin in and smooth out the breath. So having a nice smooth back of the neck, so having a slight Jalandhar Bandha, you're tucking the chin in, stops the prana from shooting too quickly up the Sushumna and making your mind agitated. So that slight tuck of the chin helps to keep your mind calm. So stretch out through the fingertips, stretch out through the toes, tuck the chin and breathe into that left side of your pelvis. Dropping your right hand and your left foot, turn to the left arm's coming all the way up to the sky. Either staying there or straightening both legs, stacking one on top of the other. And then slowly coming back down onto your hands and knees, sitting back on your heels and stretch your arms out in front of you into child's pose. Breathing into your belly. And just being aware of how you're feeling now. No judgment, just being a curious observer, observing curiously. Then from here, gently coming back up, you're going to curl your back toes under, spreading your fingers apart, pushing up into downward facing dog. So you can begin to pedal your feet to warm up your hamstrings and your calves, smoothing out the breath. And then staying in the balls of your feet, you're going to inhale to come forwards for upward facing dog. Relax the shoulders. Exhale, down dog. So inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. If that's not for you today, you can modify by coming down onto your knees. Exhale to sit back on your heels and inhaling to come forwards. Just make sure that your shoulders are relaxed. You're not holding tension there, it's going to protect your neck. Your last exhale, you're going to come back into down dog. Take your feet together. Inhale, lift your right leg all the way up to the sky. Bend your knee, open up your hip and look over that left shoulder so you can spot the foot. Breathe into it. Some of you might want to just stay there and join where you're at. And some of you might want to come all the way over into wild thing. You might have noticed with the teen yoga, you're going a little bit faster and you're going a little bit more advanced than you would with a general adult class. You want to challenge them a little bit. And then slowly coming back into down dog, feet together. Inhale, lift up the left leg, bend the knee, open up the hip, look over your right shoulder. And then you're either staying there or taking that foot all the way over, moving into wild thing. Just enjoy where you are. Slowly coming back into downward facing dog. And then from here, take your right foot forward, drop your left knee, and take your arms all the way up the sky, crescent moon. Inhale to open up in the heart. Exhale, hands to heart center. So inhaling to open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Keep going. Then from here, take that left elbow to the outside edge of the right thigh, palms together, looking over that right shoulder. Breathe into it. Keep the shoulders relaxed, the jaw relaxed. Gently releasing, place your hands to the inside of the foot, walk the foot out a little bit, dipping your hips,
You're either staying there or you might want to come down onto the elbows. It depends where you are today. Everyone's bodies are different. So just breathe acceptance into where you are in your body and in your life. Inhaling to slowly come back up. Walk that foot in a little bit, hands either side, curl the back toes under and push up into downward facing dog. Checking in with yourself, seeing where you're at, connecting in with your breath. Inhale, take your left foot forward, drop your right knee, the top of the right foot, arms all the way up to the sky, crescent moon. Inhale to open up, exhale, hands to heart center, keep going. From here, take the right elbow to the outside edge of the left thigh, palms together, looking over that left shoulder. Again, finding your breath, releasing any tension. So twists are also good for wringing tension out of the body as well. And then releasing, place your hands to the inside of the foot, walk the foot out a little bit, dipping the hips, coming forwards, being where you're at, and knowing that that's absolutely perfect. Just breathe acceptance into where you are. Every exhale, let go a little bit further. Inhaling to slowly come back up, walk that foot in a little bit, hands at either side, curl the back toes under, push up into downward facing dog. Connecting back into your breath. And then inhale, take your right foot forward, swivel your back foot, bend the front knee, take your arms all the way up to the sky here. So we're moving into warrior one. So you're heel to heel, your hips are facing forwards. You're pressing down with the front big toe and the outside edge of the back foot. From here, you're going to inhale to straighten that front leg and exhale to draw the shoulder blades together and bend that front knee. So inhale to straighten and exhale. Keep going. This is good for lethargy, insomnia, just oxygenates your body, it works the intercostal muscles. And then from here, you're going to straighten that front leg, reach back, and then you're going to you can either hold on to your elbows or take your palms together in reverse namaste. Inhale to open up in the heart and exhaling to fold forwards. When I teach children, we call this one the magic health. It's Parshvottanasana. Inhaling to come all the way back up, releasing the hands at either side of that front foot, and then push back into downward facing dog. Listening to your body. Inhale, take your left foot forward, swivel the back foot, bend the front knee, coming all the way up, pressing down with the front big toe, the outside edge of the back foot. Inhale to straighten that front leg. Exhale to bend the knee and draw the shoulder blades together. Keep going. The next inhale, stay standing. Reach your arms back, either hold the elbows or palms together, reverse namaste. Inhale, open up in the heart. Exhaling to fold forwards. Just breathe into where you are. Inhaling to come all the way back up. Releasing your hands at either side of that front foot and push back into downward facing dog. Connecting with your breath again. Inhale, lift up your right leg all the way up to the sky. Exhale, draw that foot forward so it's in between your hands. Swivel the back foot, bend the front knee. This time the length, the space is a little bit wider. You're heeled to instep now, and your hips are facing, I'll go this way so you can see, the hips are facing the side of your mat. You're taking your arms out and you're looking along your front arm. So Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, but we're going to work with the Kundalini version, which helps to ground us, working with Muladhara chakra, your root chakra. So curl your fingers around your thumbs, draw back your bow and arrows with your left elbow, and look along that front arm. So really bend that front knee, nice deep breaths. This really helps to make you feel more grounded. And then from here, you're going to take that left hand to the back of the left thigh. Inhale, right arms up and over, looking up that right hand that's facing down, and drawing that left shoulder away from your ear. Inhaling to release, and then stepping back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring that foot forward so it's in between your hands. Swivel the back foot, bend the front knee. Curl the fingers around your thumbs, drawing back your bow and arrows, looking along that front arm, connecting to your breath and engage the back leg, bend that front knee. Take your right hand to the back of the right thigh. Inhale, left arms up and over, look up at the left hand that's facing down, drawing that shoulder away from your ear. Then releasing, place your hands at either side of that foot and pushing back into downward facing dog. From here, walking your feet towards your hands, coming into a standing forward bend. Bend your knees if you need to. So Uttanasana, forward bends are very calming. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Exhaling, hands into your heart center. And then hands down by your side into Tadasana. Close your eyes, check in with yourself, and feel the prana. That beautiful energy flowing through your body now. Just become aware of your heart beating, the connection of your feet to the earth. You feel, sense the tips of your fingers, every cell awakened. Okay, so we do a few wee balances now. So let's work with Vrikshasana, the tree pose. So again, find your drishti point, your gaze point. Take your right foot to your left ankle, or to your calf, or to your inner thigh, or you might want to take it into your half lotus today. So hands to your heart centers, arms all the way up to the sky, smoothing out the breath. And if you've got your foot in half lotus, some of you guys might want to come forwards. So this is good for if you suffer from period pains. Stuff like that. Inhaling to come all the way back up. If you were down there, take your left fingertips into a mudra. Your right hand's reaching back that right foot, and you're going to flow forwards into Natarajasana, dancer pose, or I like to call it the superhero pose. I quite like to be a superhero. Smooth out your breath, tongue to the roof of your mouth to help with your balance. Place your hands onto your hips and lift that right leg up. Smooth the breath out. And then gently drop that foot down. From here, take your left foot to the right ankle, or to the calf, or to the inner thigh, or to the half lotus. Hands to your heart centers, arms all the way up to the sky. Either staying here, smoothing out your breath, finding steadiness in your practice, or you can slowly fold forwards. Just have fun with it. Breathe into it. Slowly coming all the way back up if you were down there with me. Don't worry if you weren't. And then you're going to take your right fingertips into a mudra, sealing in that good energy and reaching back that left hand to hold onto the foot, coming into Natarajasana. Just becoming a superhero, a strong and steady superhero. We're all superheroes right now. Our superpowers are learning how to adapt and adjust, I think, really, isn't it? Come in here, bringing your hands onto your hips and lift that left leg up. Smooth your breath out. And then gently releasing. And again, standing in the mountain pose, Tadasana. Just feel the flow of energy in your body. How is your mind? How is your emotions? Don't allow your mind to wander. If it wanders, just be fine with that, but let it go. Don't form any stories in your head. Come back to your breath and feel your heart beating. So we're going to move to the front of your mats. You're going to breathe in, take your arms up. Breathing out to fold forwards. Breathe in, come halfway up. And then breathe out, hands on the mat, and step back to the plank pose. So tuck the chin in. Remember not to drop your head down. It's a very heavy thing, your head. You don't want to put too much pressure on. Remember the back of your neck is part of your spine too. Press back with the heels, nice deep breaths. This is working our Manipura chakra. This is our personal power, self-esteem. Just behind our navel point here, build that fire. So drop your knees, drop your chest, and drop your pelvis. Oh, here we go. You lost me for a second. Okay, from here, we're going to do a little mini cobra flow. So belly down back bends are really good for stimulating the vagus nerve, which actually calms you down, works with the parasympathetic nervous system. So belly down back bends are very, very good for you. And again, they're tridoshic as well, so you balance all body types. So hands under the shoulders, relax the shoulders, elbows pointing back. Inhale, mini cobra. Exhale, stay there. Inhale, come all the way up into Cobra Bhujangasana. And then exhale all the way down. So inhale, mini cobra. Exhale, stay there. Inhale, come all the way up, being aware of your heart. And exhaling all the way back down. Let's do it a couple of times on your own. Finish one last round. Stack the hands in front of you, rest your forehead down, and feel yourself melting down into your mats. From here, we're going to move into Dhanurasana, the bow pose. If that's not for you today, you can do half bow. So half bow, you can take your right arm out, bend that left knee, reach back to hold onto that left ankle. Or some of you might want to go for the full thing. So you're reaching back to hold onto the ankles, flexing your feet, make sure your legs are parallel to protect your knees. And as you breathe in, push the shins away. Nice deep breaths. Slowly releasing down. Again, stack your hands in front of you, rest your forehead down, and feel yourself sinking down into your mats. And then gently pushing yourself up onto your knees. Inhale, take your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale to fold forwards, the backs, the hands on the kidneys, resting your head down. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale to fold forwards, back to the hands and the kidneys, resting the forehead down. So find your own rhythm. Again, really connect your breath in the body. And then when you're ready, staying in child's pose, taking your arms down by your side. So feeling that pressure point in between the eyebrows where the floor meets your third eye. So again, this is stimulating the vagus nerve again, stimulating the oculocardiac nerve, which is attached to the vagus nerve, which is in your tummy, but it makes you feel happier and calmer. So you see babies banging their heads off their cots. It's called stimming. So push yourself gently up. And it's them trying to calm themselves down. So it's not because they've gone mad. It's very interesting stuff. So from here, take your legs out in front of you, moving into a posture called Janu Shirshasana. So take your right foot to the inside of your left thigh, flex that left foot towards you. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale to fold. You're trying to work that right set of ribs towards the left inner thigh. And don't worry if you can't reach your feet. So this is not about trying to stretch your body. And so it's about accepting where you are. So as you inhale, lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, let go. Make sure you're not flopping your head down. Trying to keep your back of your neck in line with the spine. Breathing in to come all the way back up. Feeling that nice difference. Take that long left leg, lift it up and take it over the bent knee. Taking the right arm up across your body, the outside edge of your left thigh. Left hand's on the floor behind you. Breathe in to lengthen. And breathe out to twist. Breathe in to lengthen. Breathe out to twist. Reverse the twist. Take the left arm to the inside of the left thigh. Right hand's on the floor behind you. Breathe in to lengthen. Breathe out to twist. Breathe in to lengthen. Breathe out to twist. And then release. Take your legs out in front of you. Again, checking in with yourself, seeing where you're at. This is something many people do, but I think we should all take time out every now and again in our day to check in with ourselves. So we come from a place of awareness and we're not reacting. Okay, we're choosing whether we act, and when we do, we act wisely. So from here, take your left foot to the inside of that right thigh, flex that right foot towards you. Breathe in to lengthen, and then breathe out to fold. Try to work that left set of ribs to the right inner thighs. This is a twist as well as a forward bend. It's a great one for neutralizing spine after a back bend. Just breathe acceptance into where you are. Inhaling to come all the way back up. Then getting that long right leg, lifting it up and taking it over the bent knee. The left arm's going up. It's going to cross your bodies, the outside edge, the right thigh. Right hand's on the floor behind you. Breathe in to lengthen. Breathe out to twist. Breathe in to lengthen. Breathe out to twist. Reversing the twist, take the right arm to the inside of the right thigh. Left hand's on the floor behind you. Breathe in to lengthen. Breathe out to twist. And release. Whew, I've just found a green bean on the floor. Nice. I didn't have to share that with you. Take your legs out in front of you. We're going to move into a seated forward bend. The first time that's happened before. Paschimottanasana, and we're going to do it in a dynamically flowy. We're not jaggedy. We're just going to flow with our breath here. Okay, so inhale, take your arms up, and exhale to fold. Take your hands over your feet. If you need to bend your knees, that's absolutely perfect. Then inhaling to come up and exhaling to fold. So inhaling halfway up, exhaling to fold. You can bend and straighten your knees or keep them bent, but you're going to flow like a wave here. So connecting your breath and your body, flowing like a wave. Next time you breathe out, you're going to stay there. You're going to breathe into any dark spaces on your back, under the shoulder blades, anywhere that feels dark and stagnant. Breathe that light and healing into these areas. It's as if you're taking a wee torch and poking it about into the dark corners with your breath. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, take them back down, flex the feet towards you, Dandasana. Breathe into your heart. And then from here, lying on your back, bending the knees. The heels are tucked into your bottom, your feet are hip width apart, arms down by your side. So you're going to breathe and lift your hips up and your arms over your head. Breathing out, bring your hips back down, your arms down by your side. So breathing in, hips up, arms over. And we're just slowly connecting in again with our breaths. Be aware of each individual vertebrae. Continue on your own, slow and smooth. Just a dynamic Setu Bandhasana is a great way of resetting the spine before we move into Shavasana. We're gradually preparing the spine so we can be still. From here, draw the knees into your belly for Apanasana. Open your arms out like wings. As you breathe out, drop the knees to the right and look along your left wing. And then breathing in, bring your knees back up to center. Breathe out, drop the knees to the left and look along your right wing. Breathe in, back up to center. So again, continue with your own breath, Jatari Parivartasana. It's just helping to bring some sort of stability into the spine, into the sacrum. Bring some awareness in there. Nice bit of juiciness into that mid part of our body, and twists help to bring in the samana, the balance. So from here, bring your knees back up to center. And then we're going to move into happy baby pose. So work with your inner teacher just now. Where does your body, where do your hands want to be? Either take them to the outside of your feet or the inside of the feet. Listen to your own intuition. We're always being told what we should or shouldn't be doing. So what does your body tell you that you need right now? Tune in with yourself and give your body what it needs. Breathe into it. Feel that lower part of your spine, the sacrum, connecting into the earth here. And then slowly and gently, stretching your legs out, arms down by your side, moving into Shavasana, your relaxation. We're going to work with a breathing technique here that helps to soothe you. It's called golden thread breath. So you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth as if you're blowing out a golden thread. So it's so slowly and gently, golden breath, golden thread breath. Just soothing the soul. Now let go of that breath. Relax your body into the earth. And look into the space in front of the closed eyes. And breathe out the focus of awareness far out into the mind's sky. And then from the magical perspective of your internal heavenly heights, look back to see yourself lying here in Shavasana. See your body from the outside, looking down from above. See yourself. Then let the awareness shift so you can look up from beneath your body, seeing it from underneath. See yourself. Then shift the perspective so you're poised by your feet and look up through your body from the soles of your feet. See yourself. Take a look at yourself from the right side. See yourself. Take a look at yourself from the left side. See yourself. And then, seated close by the crown of your head, look down at yourself as if you could see through the crown of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. See yourself. Return to the viewpoint that you had at the start, looking down from on high. And see now that this body is resting in the most luscious and abundant garden. It seems to have no limits. There are flowers and fruits and birds and gorgeous plants and trees. The colours are extraordinarily vivid. The garden smells fresh, wild and spicy. There is the sound of running water and beautiful bird song. Everything is warm and enticing. The ripe fruits in the trees are dripping with juice. The blooms of the flowers are so bright, they seem to be on fire. And every plant and creature in the garden is overflowing with life and energy. Even the light is alive here. And as you watch yourself lying there, the outward shape and form of the physical body becomes transparent and translucent. Everything that is outside the garden is inside this body. The body contains the abundance of the garden. You watch and know, I am the garden. I feel it within me, vivid and alive and utterly entrancing. Stay in this garden as long as you like. And when you're ready to leave the garden, exhaling now, the focus of mental attention comes to rest back in the space of your heart. The breath goes deeper and louder, and as you begin to reconnect your perceptions to the world within your physical body, the breath of the heart is whispering softly to you, how wild is your garden? And every cell of your whole being sings out in response, I am the garden. I am the garden that is wild and free in its beauty. I am the garden that is abundantly juicy and creative. Starting to bring your awareness back into the room. You can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, stretching your arms over your head, away from your body, stretch your feet away from your body, pulling your knees in, giving yourself a wee hug, rolling from side to side, and rolling onto your right side into recovery position. And then gently pushing yourselves up to seated position, placing your hands in Anjali Mudra. We're going to end our practice with an Om. Here we go. Om. Namaste. Thank you for practicing yoga with me this morning. So, has anyone got any questions? You'll probably be aware that with the teens, you kind of move a little bit faster, but you do get them to check in with themselves. So you do if you teach adults, you tend to be a lot more careful with modifications, and you wouldn't throw in a wild thing. You know, with teenagers, if they can't do it, they won't do it. So that thing where you say, stay there and enjoy where you're at, or you can come and join us in Wild Thing. Teens like to take themselves that little bit further. So it's kind of fear releasing. Okay. Yeah. So has anyone got any questions?
So when you teach, say, a new class and you don't know the level, if any of them, you know, quite obviously some of them may not have done yoga. Mm-hmm. Some of those things will be lost on them. Do you try and articulate more, or do you allow them to watch their peers to eventually go into it, so keep the rhythm going, or do you slow the class down? Cool. I'm sort of, it seems like an obvious question, but I'm curious because that seems to flow quite nicely. We're all yoga teachers, so we pretty much know where we're going.
Yeah, well, basically, what I kind of try to reiterate when I'm teaching, that yoga isn't about how flexible you are, how strong you are, how great you look on the mat. It's about accepting yourself where you're at. It's accessible for all. So you'll go into schools and there are some students that are, what's the word to say that's obese? They can actually participate more than they could in a lot of the other like sports. So if yoga isn't a sport, so they'll find that perhaps some of the hip opening stuff is, you'll find that they're amazing at it. The sporty boys will have very tight hamstrings. It's irrelevant how advanced they are in their asana, because it's about getting them to meet themselves where they're at. Yeah. So maybe just like explaining to them at the beginning, not like just to say, yoga isn't about being all flexible and bendy. Yoga is about being self-aware and being okay with where you're at. And today we're going to be okay with where we're at. Remember to breathe and do what you can. Yeah. You know, with teens, I wouldn't go in and teach a slow hatha because they're new. They've got very, very sponge-like brains that they want to learn. They get bored very quickly. If somebody, they've had a lot of my teens think of me as their friend, so they tell me their stuff. You'll find they'll come to you and ask you stuff that they wouldn't go to their parents with. You know, like stuff to do with boys and bodies and things like that. But they also share with you other stuff. They'll go, oh, yeah, we had a yoga teacher in and they taught us like adult yoga. It bores them. It's too dry. So never assume that they can't do it because they're beginners. No. Your body knows what to do. And if you can't do a wild thing, does that make you a bad yogi? No, not at all. Some of the best yogis out there can't do, you know, lotus pose, Padmasana. You know, that's not what it's about. So getting them to meet themselves where they're at, but it is about keeping. You'll find with kids and teen yoga, it flows quicker, but you have to keep getting them to with the teens, get them to keep checking in with themselves, but keep the flow going, because they'll be like, screw this. This is, once they get used to you, so you start off with vinyasas and you start off with that kind of me moving them quicker. That's how you would kind of like, you'd start off doing vinyasa style stuff. I'll explain it more in the course as it progresses. Then that's when, once they've got used to you, that's when you can introduce Kundalini, Yin. Yeah, Yin is slower. If you came to a class to teach a group of teens Yin, they'd be like, that was rubbish. That was so boring, not for me.
get them to move in their bodies, be aware of the energy in their bodies and what yoga can do for them. And then you can throw in the Kundalini that they all adore, or throw in the yin, but get them to that place first to just get somatically find and be aware of the energy in their body, and let them know it's not the only reason that we're trying to get the alignment is so to keep them safe and to get the prana to move. It's not about looking good in the mat or being able to, it's like getting away from the Western perspective of it's about the form. It's more about the function. What do you need? What do you want to do with them? And you want them to accept themselves exactly where they are right now. It's not about finding that perfect headstand or, getting the knees down. It's about you're actually just perfect just as you are, So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that vinyasa flow really gets them into the groove, and maybe frame it. You can't get this wrong. You just got to be, make sure you're safe. You can't get this wrong. It doesn't matter what you look like. Just get within your body, get within the movement, the flow. Yeah. Yeah.
Just be where you're at.
Yeah.
And people, you guys have probably heard that before. I've always wanted to try yoga, but I'm not flexible enough. Oh, yeah, that means you're ideal for yoga. Go to it, have fun. Doesn't matter. I've never been able to get my knees properly down in Baddha Konasana. And I used to be like, oh my goodness, that's but found out it's not tensile, it's bone compression. Yeah. Everyone's ball and socket joints are different. I'll never be, because it doesn't hurt. I just can't get down there. And it's not because, so that's why I left Ashtanga. Ashtanga's like, you're not allowed to move on to second series until you can do all these things. And a lot of it's hip openers, and they push you down and judge you. And I'm like, no, I'll never be able to do that. Well, and then they say you can't go on and do the second series because, you've got to perform all the ones first. And some of the second series ones were the more fun ones. So I was a naughty yoga, used to do all the second series at home. I'm like, it shouldn't be about all that structure and rules. So then I found vinyasa where I could, and now I'm vinyasa krama. Vinyasa krama is more systematic. It's working more with the tantric thing, and it's working with the biomechanics and the energetics. There's a system to it that, rather than doing that way, like that kind of sequencing that looks great, and that's really about the form, getting that function and holding the space. Yeah. So there you go. So has anyone got any other questions? Yeah, Julia.
First of all, I'd like to just say that, receiving that practice, there were a couple of things that I really, really appreciated. And one was the cueing around the going from mini cobra to higher cobra. And then you guided us through it. And then you said, now, maybe you'd like to try a couple on your own. So I thought that was very freeing and very empowering. And it was left very open-ended. I didn't feel like there was any obligation. And then especially the cueing around side plank, you could keep your knee down, or you could bring your two legs out to the side. But there was no, this is the more advanced version, or this is the, if you're not able to do this. So the way you cued, I thought it was very equitable. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but that landed really well with me as a yoga practitioner myself, who has issues with people telling me what to do in yoga. But I do have a question around some of the shapes, and I wonder, in your vast experience, if things like baby pose and the cat-cow, because sometimes they are quite sexualized shapes. I'm wondering sometimes with the teenage girls, or if it's in a mixed setting, if there are issues around how that might land in terms of vulnerability in positioning. Even the word like relaxed for Shavasana. I'm working in a context where 9 out of 10 children experience some form of abuse. So I'm extremely aware of the language. I just wondered what your experience.
Yeah. So I think what it is, interestingly, I have discovered, I'm renovating a house right now that I didn't expect to renovate so much. I'm dealing with so many different tradesmen, and I'm going into a place like B&Q, and I'm the only woman surrounded by men. And I didn't realise that we're really still in a very patriarchal society. I thought that we'd kind of advanced a lot, and we have, but working with different men, I've realised that, you know, they turn around and speak to my boyfriend. He doesn't own the place at all. It's me dealing with it. They've ignored. I'm being completely ignored, and I'm having dreams about being ignored. And it's not my ego. It's I want things done, and because I'm a woman, I'm not being spoken to. So I've noticed that, and you know that you're speaking about and I spoke to my boyfriend about it, and he went, I didn't notice that. And I said, well, actually, it's a bit like if you're white, you don't notice racism. So, and you're in a country where there's a lot of abuse. But I think when I first started teaching teens, yeah, you do notice that when you're doing the thing when their bottoms are in the air and they're a bit like, but that's because our society has taught us that that's sexual. Well, it's not. It's our bodies we're moving. So I found that if it's a bit like when you're teaching children, and if you see someone being naughty, I catch their eye first and let them know I see them. So it's like give them a wee smile, and then eventually, if they carry on, I'll just say, look, come and move over here, and just do it with me away from your friend, and you continue with the class. Now, if I found that if there was any sort of a boy making a girl feel uncomfortable, but I haven't found that. I found the girls go, and then they go, oh, and the more you normalize that by keeping it away because it might be sexual, keeps it that way. By normalizing, like, it's okay to do that, it's like with it used to be like, some of the stuff I'm doing with the tantric stuff, you got to really, and it's like, well, that's not ladylike. Well, what is it? Just get on with it and do it. So it's teaching the girls to own their bodies and know they're not sexual objects, because you do feel when you first start practicing, as all women and men and children, you feel vulnerable, because, and it's like people go to exercise classes and they almost check out and just copy the teacher. When you go to yoga, all of a sudden, because you have to connect with your breath, you're taking responsibility for yourself, and it's a vulnerable thing. So it's the same with your body. I think doing cat-cow and doing these things with your bottoms in the air, if we didn't do it because it might be perceived as sexual, it's keeping that stigma alive. But by if somebody wants to go, oh, look, that's really sexual, you shouldn't be doing that. Well, no, why should, because you're a woman, why should you not do that? It's like, get them to own their bodies and know that their power and their self-worth, so they know that their bodies aren't, we're brought up, from our generation as women and girls, we're brought up to be a bit more, when so that we could get on with things, you've got to be a bit more girly, and it's kind of like, no, like as you get older, you realize you just need to own it. And that's kind of like owning your body and teaching, when the more they get into their bodies in the somatic way and feel stronger within themselves, so not just physically, it's like knowing that your body isn't an object, it's not a sexual thing, it's something that you own and you can honor. So yeah, it can be perceived as sexual, but that's other people's stuff. But I get that if you're doing that, and there shouldn't be a class where there is abusers in the class anyway. So getting the people that's in your class to know their self-worth and to honor their bodies, they'll feel stronger within themselves, giving them that strong sense of self. Oh, she's She's had enough. No, it's our internet's dropped out. Hopefully she'll come back in. But yeah, it's a really difficult one if you're in a different country where the cultures are different. Has anyone got anything else to add? Because this is just, there's no rights and wrongs. It's my perspective, my opinion, which isn't right or it isn't wrong. Everyone's truth is their own. So does anyone think differently? Or what's your, yeah, it's a difficult one, but with teenagers, yeah, they will be sexualizing a lot of stuff because they're coming into that sort of part of life. But it's okay. That's okay too. You know, it's natural. By suppressing sex, it will come out in other ways. I think getting your students to own their bodies is the best thing to do. Boys as well. So, Richard, I'm not anti-men, by the way.
It's actually a very good point, because it's something I'm overtly conscious of, being obviously a male teacher. So I'm really careful about how I sort of position, you know, my delivery. But when we did the international students, the guy that I was organising with, he said, there's loads of girls and there's a few boys, but I think the boys are going along because the girls are in the class. And but when they came in, it was clearly that wasn't the case at all. And I think that they are embracing it for what it is. And you know, I like the wag the tail thing, because the moment I started doing that, I smiled and I thought, that's really good. And then you said, you can't stop smiling when you do this. And I think that's just a great delivery.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing. Some teachers need to give their students a bit of a break here, because I was the same working in that private school. The rugby teachers and the football teachers thought the boys were in just to caper and have a skive.
Yeah.
You know, and they weren't. They actually liked the way it made them feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, that's why they were coming back. To start off with, they're a little bit, that's because they felt vulnerable. Yeah. So allowing the teenagers to have that bit of because I was the naughty one up the back, because I felt all embarrassed when I first started. I was always getting into trouble for capering, you know, and you realise that capering thing is that vulnerability where you feel really self-conscious, but just smiling at them and going, and keep going with it. And as long as they're not disrupting the class, to start off with, it's okay to be all. And then they start to go, oh, yeah, that feels good. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of teachers think that they're mucking about. Julia's back in the room. Yay. Well, she was. I've let her back in. I don't know where she is. Oh, here she goes. So, and then we'll be able to, yay! Did your internet drop out? It's okay, I didn't think you'd had enough of me. Maybe you did. Yeah,
I'm really sorry, because you were in the middle of a power cut. Sorry.
I know. Yeah, so as I was saying, that's my perspective, that's my opinion, which isn't necessarily right or wrong. It's coming from it, and you'll find that suppressing sexual things is not healthy in a sense, especially when they're teenagers. But I am aware you're in a different culture, and it's a completely different way of being. So I think that's something that would maybe something that you would have to investigate further. That's in a sense that I don't know what the culture of Sierra Leone is, but I can imagine there's a lot of traumatic stuff. So if there is girls there that have been abused, they might feel vulnerable. If that's what you were asking as well, you can think about leaving things out with their bums in the air if you don't want them to feel. I've found that when I work with special needs adults and children who are very, their sensory, they feel really anxious because of their sensory issues. I get them to do Shavasana in Makrasana. on their bellies.
Mhm.
I think if they feel too vulnerable, open like that in Shavasana, get them to do it in Makrasana. But you know, I think it's like using your intuition. If they're coming from, I think you've been trained in trauma, and that's a different kind of. It's different, but the teenagers, they will experience trauma. But I think that's what you're speaking about. From some of it is more coming from a specialized sort of way of being. But if that you find that there's a lot of girls that have experienced trauma, go with what feels right for you. You don't have to put in, you know, things that might trigger them. So it's just practicing with awareness. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was coming from more, actually, to be honest, with the comment is that some shapes can be very triggering. We're never going to know until we're in that space. No one's going to disclose. They might not even know it's triggering until they're there. I have a boy in my mixed class for whom I would never offer cat-cow.
Yeah.
So, you know, we come in, I might offer tabletop or down dog, and I'm very, very, very clear with my descriptions and my choice offering, so that he still feels safe.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think it's really about being aware of who your students are and the energy of the room, you know, the bath. So if you're coming from that perspective, definitely, it's such a shame to think that we have to that other humans could damage other humans so much, but the fact that you're holding space for them is amazing. I think as well, sometimes by not doing things in case it triggers people, sometimes might not help them heal, in the sense that there'll be something along when they're in a situation where they're not in a safe space, that they'll still be triggered, doing things that might possibly trigger them a little bit, in a sense, but so that they know that if they do that, it's actually okay, they're in a held space. By pushing something away, as I said, it can keep it in there. So showing them that it's okay to be there. So even doing things for a short time, and then, you know, and just so knowing that they're safe. So avoiding things sometimes isn't the, you know, you can avoid it if it's terrible triggering, but by getting to provide that space, so that then when things do come up, which they do in yoga, you can hold their space. And so that when they're off the mat in life, they're held, because they've had that space held by you. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think safety is key. Safety and authentic, you know, relationship between you as a facilitator and whether it's children or teens. Without that, you haven't even got a yoga thing going on, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I think everyone needs to feel safe and secure. Everyone does. And teens especially, because they almost have it. It's almost like this, because of they've got their adrenal system, their hormones. So it's almost like fight or flight comes in. So working with the ocular cardiac nerve, just a little bit of pressure here, actually helps to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. So I remember I used to go to, I think it's better to explain why people do things, because I've been in classes, like, you know, restorative classes, where I'll demonstrate, quickly demonstrate. I've been in classes where they've made you do in restorative, get this block and do down dog and place your head, it's a supported down dog, and I've thought, you know, that's absolutely ridiculous. What's the actual point in that? You know, I'd rather just do down dog. So it was almost like I rejected it a little bit. I was like, I'm not supported. But then when I did my restorative yoga teacher training, I discovered that actually that pressure, it's not as much as the support thing, the pressure in down dog with the block there is stimulating the oculocardiac nerve, which is coming into your vagus nerve, which is switching on the parasympathetic nervous system and calming you down. So that's for some of maybe your trauma people, working with or if you're in just various things where there's some sort of pressure in the third eye. It's not I now embrace that pose instead of rejecting it. I like to know the reason why, and so do teenagers. That's the inner teenager in me. Why? So letting the teenagers know why. They like to know what it's good for and why you do it, and what it does for you energetically and physically. The science, they like the science, but it's a good one. So yeah. Okay, has anyone got any other questions? Oh, okay, so I'm going to post your manual, your exam papers, and like all today's stuff, and then tomorrow morning post day 2. So you'll see in your Facebook group, you look up to the left bit, it says you've got a bit where you can choose between recent activity. It normally just goes straight into recent activity, but you can click on it, and then it can go into you can choose for it to go in order, because once somebody likes it or says something, they get jumbled and they're not in the same order. So you can move it so that if you want to work through everything systematically, you can change that. If you can't open any of the files on the Facebook group, by just clicking on it, go into the file section of your Facebook group and you access it from there. Sometimes if it doesn't open by clicking on it, you can open it by going into the file section. Okay, but if you have any problems, any questions, I'm here to support you, and hopefully I'll see you at 5 o'clock on Sunday night, or I don't know what time it will be in Sierra Leone. What time is it?
Oh,
there?
We're the same time at the
that's
at the moment.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been lovely to spend the morning with you. I'm away to move house now. The storage container arrived at 9 this morning. I keep getting messages through. I'm like, I'll deal with that once I've finished holding your space. So have a lovely rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of the course, and if you've got, ask as many questions. I don't take anything personally. I need to know if something doesn't work or if you need more. You know, if you feel, I still don't feel, I feel I need a bit more of this, ask me. Okay, I will not take anything personally. I need to know because I want to give you as much as I can. Okay, I can never make assumptions. Everyone's different. Okay, so lots of love. And yeah, I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.